Okay, let's talk about fuel economy. A lot of times people buy a new car and they drive off the lot and they drive it for several weeks and they say, man, my gas mileage is really bad. And I will frequently ask, well, how do you know? What do you mean by that? And I get some really interesting answers. And what I have discovered is that a lot of people actually don't really understand how to do some things. And that's not necessarily their fault. Nobody's teaching this anymore. So I'm going to teach you a few things. But first, let's talk about that trip computer, because your car will tell you what gas mileage it thinks it's getting. And that's usually not too terribly far off, although in certain driving conditions it is. But in most cases, it's not off by more than 10%. But what people don't realize is when you buy a new car, that thing is not really set up all that well. And that's because the car just came off of the assembly line. It's learning how it's being driven. It doesn't understand how much gas it had in it, and it spends a lot of time idling. It got driven through a parking lot to a rail yard and onto a train and into another parking lot and then onto a delivery truck, finally to your dealership where it gets driven into the shop, driven to the parking lot. It might have spent a lot of time idling. So the initial setup on that thing, the initial calibration is really bad. So reset it. Let me show you how to reset it. It's easy on most of our cars. The ones that have the 3-panel display gets a little more complicated. So let me show you how to do that. So this is one of these 3-panel displays, and you can see it shows our average gas mileage in this hybrid Toyota Crown, which should be getting about 41 miles to the gallon. It's saying it's getting about 22 miles to the gallon. Well, again, let's fix that. So we go to our display. We hit the OK button. Oh, hello. Sorry. You hit the left and right arrow. So go back to the one that you want. Push and hold the OK button. That gets you the little brackets here. That means you're in the setup mode. Well, slide over to that window. Now push and hold the reset. Now it starts off with 0. And as we start to drive this car, now it's going to get some accurate readings, and that'll be a lot better for you to really understand what it is your car is doing. I'm going to make a second video here in a little bit. I don't like to make these too long, but the second video, I'm going to go over some things you can do to actually track your exact mileage, your correct mileage, and things that you can do to make sure that it is in fact accurate. So subscribe to the channel and pick up on the next one.